Hour, we'll talk with NBA scout for the New Orleans Pelicans and former Mizzou Tiger basketball player Jared Sutton about the NBA playoffs, the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Andy Rogers from MLB.com will talk Royals baseball with us. And as a reminder that pretty much anyone can be a guest on the show, Dave Borchert will be on with us at 9:30 to talk about the Hospital Hill race and also his trip to Nashville with Todd Lebo to see AC/DC. They got postponed one night, and then it happened, and, you know, the hilarity that ensued. So we got all that between now and 10 o'clock. I'll be here until 8, and then I'm going to get in my car and drive to Omaha because Jack Caglione is incredible. And I've been telling you this since before the season, so keep listening. He is knocking at the door of the major leagues of being called up to the Royals. It'll happen sooner than later. And you heard some highlights there. His last game on Sunday, he hit 2 home runs. That's 5 home runs in 4 games. It's just, it's unbelievable. He's leading the minors in home runs and ribbies. He got called up to, AAA. And, I don't always get it with some people. Some people choose to be like super negative about stuff and not have an optimistic outlook, and just wait till he gets to AAA and then he'll start to struggle. Or let's see how about maybe this cat is just different. We see this happen in Major League Baseball. We see players that are just good to go, that are just special talents, special prospects, special baseball players, special hitters, special pitchers. All right? And I'm not comparing him because just for an example, like Paul Skeens, how's he adjusted to the majors? Has he been okay? Has he been all right? Do you watch him and you think, you know what? He could use some more seasoning in the oven. Send him back to AA or AAA, and let's get with him in a month. No. There are some players that just motor through the minor leagues. Now, could Jack Caglione have a tough week or so coming up at AAA? Yeah. He had one at AA, and that's all right because everybody struggles when it comes to being a professional hitter in the major leagues and the minor leagues. Bobby Witt Jr. goes through slumps. George Brett went through slumps. Every single hitter goes through tough times, but it's how they adjust, and that's really the mark of a great hitter. How you adjust to the pitcher's adjustments. They start to pitch you differently. What are you going to do? So he went through a tough stretch at AA, and then he figured it out, and then he got hot. Now it's like he got called up to AAA, and he got even hotter than he was at AA. And so it's to the point now where it's just overwhelming. It's not just like Royals fans. It's like everybody like around Major League Baseball, anyone that covers the minors, like openly questioning, like, okay, all right, when are they calling him up? This is getting ridiculous. Come on, what are you waiting for? And like I'm good. I'm good with them. Wait till June 10th and be sure you're clear of the Super 2 status deadline. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Is that something they're looking at? Maybe. Sure. Why not? If you're this close. I don't know. But that's a real thing. And that will affect the amount of money you pay him in the near future. And so if you tell me they're kind of dragging their feet That's still an accelerated pace if he ends up getting called up here in the second week of June, right?
Yep.
I had people telling me that they shouldn't call him up at all this year. I don't have those people telling me that anymore. But I think we can all agree, even if you're the most conservative person when it comes to handling prospects, you would all agree that it seems like he's ready for a call-up.
He's certainly close.
Right? I'm gonna call him ready. I've seen enough.
He seems like he's doing all right.
I've seen enough. I'm good. And so tonight is his first home game at AAA. And I'm going to go ahead and guess there's not going to be a whole bunch of them. And so they are going to have a press conference with Jack Caglione because there are too many one-on-one requests. There'll be no one-on-one interviews with him. And so I'm going to roll up to Omaha with our digital reporter and also host of She's on the Mic, Bethany Bowman. And also now, Bethany. Things you say yes to. You should always tread lightly. Because now this road trip is expanded to include all 3 St. John women. Yeah. That's a look that you just gave me.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. They could be there. We're supposed to be ready at 8:30 a.m. Go pick them up, drop Bethany's car off, and we're going to have a big family road trip up to Omaha. And they're going to drop us off at the ballpark to do the Jack Caglione press conference has been moved a couple of times. It's supposed to be at 1 o'clock. And this has been, so Jake knows this. And so I've been working with the people. I've been working with Sam Mellinger. I've been working with the people up in Nicholas from up in Omaha. Great people to work with. And so I submitted a list on Thursday. And my list included Nick Lofton. And then Nick Lofton got called up. The second person on my list that I was scheduled to interview was John Rave. And then John Rave got called up. And so the third person on my list to interview is Cam Devaney. And so expect him to get called up real soon, basically. I'm hoping he doesn't get called up before noon today.
Passing him on I-29?
Because I've had 2 people whacked off my list.
What?
In the last couple of days. And so I'm still going to talk to a few different players and just get some thoughts. A couple of prospects that I like. Devaney, who's pounding the door. And guess what? The Royals have shown right now the Kansas City to Omaha Expressway is open. Wide open. Nick Lofton deserved the call-up. He deserved to be here. Hunter Renfroe is I'm sure a unbelievably nice gentleman. All right? And I'm sure he's fun in the clubhouse. But his production, or lack thereof, over the past year and a half since he's been here, he deserved to be let go. His spot deserved to go to Nick Lofton. Okay? Kevin Biggio, it was a nice try. He was not productive enough either. And guess what? John Rave gets the call. We've been asking for that on this show for quite some time. And so I'm happy with that. Yes. And there's still, and this is the good thing, though. There's still more at AAA, more help for the offense. And I like the way they're doing this because it just doesn't seem like, we're waiting. Jack Caglione Savior, come up here. It's like, hey, Nick Lofton. Hey, John Rave. Hey, eventually Cam Devaney. Hey, Jack Caglione. A huge influx of offensive talent. Look up Cam Devaney and look at what he's doing.
Well, it sounds like just a matter of time before he gets whacked off your list.
Right. I hope so. I'm going to tell him that when I interview him. I was like, hey, look, everyone I put on my list gets called up, so now you're next in line.
Hello.
Does this excite you? Are you fired up? Or do you have your bags packed? Should you just go back with me? I'm heading back tonight. I got one seat left in the car. You know? You may not love the Spotify playlist we're going to have, but let's go.
Or maybe he will.
I don't know.
You don't know what he likes.
I don't know. I saw Bethany get cute on social media posting, I hope SSJ plays good music in the car. Well,
oh boy.
You act like I have any control over that now. You'll hear things that I have no control over.
Will there be squabbling over the music?
I don't know. They've all got earbuds and everything.
Yeah.
And so maybe everyone just listens to their. I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you the last person would be picking the music's me. So I got no control.
Well, that's unfortunate for Bethany, because she could get treated to maybe your like a playlist of power ballads by
maybe
Stephen St. John, something like that.
It would be hype.
Hype music.
SSJ hype.
Yeah.
That's a playlist. I could go with that. So I'm in. We're gonna go up there. I'm gonna do some interviews, and I'm gonna stay for the game tonight. See Cags. Hey, we've been talking about it. New day in AAA.
I've never been to a game at the new stadium up there. I went to the old Rosenblatt and watched one Omaha Royals game there.
Not that new.
Werner Park.
Yeah, I know.
It's not that new.
It's new in my life.
This brand new stadium that
by my standards, it's new.
he'd like to see.
That's a lifetime
What is it?
ago.
About 15 years old, something like
let's
that.
see.
Werner Park.
Yeah, Warner Park.
Look it up.
I'm guessing. I went there and I think I watched Mike Montgomery pitch. It was 2011.
I was about 15 years old. That's young in my world.
That was a big trip for young Jake.
Is
By the way, if you're wondering, like I'm bringing up Cam Devaney, like we went through Lofton stats. His on base percentage was through the roof. John Rave's all around numbers through the roof. They deserve the call up. Devaney, and I'm just gonna tell you, I don't like doing this, but it's very simple because someone always, well then who are you gonna send down? Whose spots are you gonna take? And I'm again, it does not take extensive mental gymnastics to find spots that need to be upgraded. Jake's always walking around here saying, if not him, then who? Well, let me tell you. I'll tell you exactly who. Michael Massey needs to start hitting.
yeah,
He needs to start hitting yesterday.
yeah.
His defense is terrific, but he's got to hit. Got to hit. Because there's guys like Devaney who predominantly play shortstop.
But if you can play shortstop, you can play second.
He's played plenty of second, and he's played some third, and he's had a couple years ago a little touch in the outfield, but he plays all over. You can't have Massey hitting the way he is and have a middle infielder down AAA hitting 301 with a 382 on base and a 618 slug, an OPS of 1,000 with 11 homers, 38 ribbies. You can't have that. You can't have that happening at AAA and have this happening at second base, right? With one of your guys. Just like you couldn't have Lofton and Rave doing what they were doing anymore and look at yourself in the mirror and say, Kevin Biggio and Hunter Renfroe. You couldn't do it. Can't do it. And I like Michael Massey. And Michael Massey has been pretty good and promising until this year. But it's not happening at the plate. And so they've shown they are serious about contending. They're making the moves that we've asking them to make. Right?
Yep.
Jake, right? They're making the moves where maybe not on our time, but they're making them.
And not that past their time.
Right. They're doing the right things. We're seeing this. We're saying, hey, they really need to do this, and they're doing it. Okay? Now, that's next. Devaney keeps hitting like that with a 1,000 OPS. He's taking someone's job. And then just look at the roster and then figure it out. It's not that difficult. And I tell you what the next thing is that's going to happen if it gets to that point. When Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo come back off the IL, you're not sending my big baby's boy Noah Cameron back to AAA. Not the way he's pitching. Are you? No, you're not. And guess what? I tip my cap to you, sir, but Michael Lorenzen, there's the bullpen. Check it out. You've been there before. Enjoy. You can still help us. Now, we talked to Scott Sharp, and he said they're not opposed to a 6-man rotation when I suggested it. He said it's a good idea. I asked Jake to mark the tape. He said, I got erased. I don't know. And so that might happen for a while. But ultimately, again, you cannot and you will not ignore production and performance. You can't. Can't do it. And look, Lorenzen has been just fine as a fifth starter. Okay? But when you got a guy who's come up in 3 starts and delivered a .93 ERA, 6.7 whip, and look as polished as he does, you can't just say, hey, good effort.
Can't do it.
Back to Omaha. No.
Can't do it.
And they're showing right now that they're willing to make these moves. And when the dust settles on these moves, then here comes the hammer. Then we're all going to get jacked at Kauffman Stadium. All of us. And you know what? And I can't wait. It's going to happen. It's a matter of time. It's not if.
Right.
It's when.
Right.
And so you make all of these other moves, and then here comes the hammer, Jack Caglione. And then when that dust settles, and I like the timing of this, you do this early enough to where you get these guys together. You hope they mesh with the guys, the veterans that are already up here. See where you're at, and then you have enough time to properly evaluate what you need to do before the trade deadline, or how much you need to do. Because guess what, Jake? I know we've been demanding trade for an outfielder. I'm willing to at least be hopeful enough that a combination of Nick Lofton, John Rave, Cam Devaney, and Jack Caglione, there's a scenario where that's enough offense. That's 4 guys tearing it up at AAA. They're not all going to work out, but maybe a couple of them do. So those are upgrades. And then if you look at it, and these guys are together for, I don't know, a month before the trade deadline, you think, you know what? Still need another bat. Got to have another bat. Then you know. Then you know what you've got. You've exhausted all your internal options, and then you move, and then you go. Then you drop the hammer. Again, dropping hammers everywhere. So I'll be up in Omaha today, investigating. I can't wait. A lot of fun. This is good stuff. We're talking what a contending team can do to improve their baseball team with a lot of good prospects that are demanding attention and that deserve a shot to come up and help this baseball team who lost to Cincinnati yesterday. Boo. We'll take a break. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Jaime Bluma is brought to you by Healthy Sleep. Jaime Bluma is brought to you by Healthy Sleep Midwest. If you snore. Jaime Bluma is brought to you by Healthy Sleep Midwest. If you snore, you may be suffering from sleep apnea. Visit HealthySleepMidwest.com to see if a custom-fit oral appliance is right for you. Healthy Sleep Midwest. Breathe better, sleep better, feel better.
would cover this guy that's not even that big of a prospect.
Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you very much for joining us. Stephen St. John and Nate Bukaty, now joined by Jaime Bluma. What's up, Bluma?
Good morning. Road trip to Omaha with the St. John clan.
Yeah. And you said, hell yeah.
There's worse things.
Get in the car with us.
I wish I could.
It's Omaha hosting St. Paul.
St.
Tonight
Paul Saints.
at 6:35 p.m.
You know, I was just in Minneapolis, St. Paul, in last weekend before, and I did not know, because the St. Paul Saints used to be an independent team.
Yeah, same league as the American Association for a while.
Like, and now they're like the AAA affiliate of the Twins nowadays, so which is kind of cool.
Yeah, try to keep it more regionally.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to
Makes
have
sense.
your AAA team that right across town.
There was some comical ones for a while. How far AAA was from their parent club. I remember one year Calgary was AAA for the Marlins.
Wow.
That makes sense. Like somebody gets called up, you can't even get them there in time.
You can't get there
Like,
from here.
by the next day. We can't even get you there the next day. There's still some weird ones. I know that the Dodgers own Oklahoma City and Tulsa. That's their AAA and AA, which
that is
seems a
weird.
little bit weird, but you can only have so many teams in so many states and so many leagues.
I'm excited about watching the game up there.
I bet. Well, and we'll talk about it at length for the next 90 minutes about Cags, but the one thing that I've said all along was you want him to go succeed at every level, and clearly he did what he needed to do in AA. When we were talking to Buster Olney earlier, I was hoping that he may get in the outfield a little bit sooner, but he did. When he got to Omaha, he's been playing outfield, and I'm always checking the box score to see how he did defensively. I'm not going to get all the highlights and all that stuff to see but it sounds like he's doing all right in the outfield. So that's a big deal. Now, he's first 5 games are in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City's a lot more friendly hitting place than Omaha, but that being said, to go out there and do that in your first 5 games on the road, and what a great start. So, obviously the clock is ticking.
He had a 459-foot bomb on Sunday, by the way.
Yes, he did.
Did you see that?
I saw them all. My phone alerts me anytime anything that somebody was watching my phone. Like, how do you get your phone to do that? Like, you got to turn your notifications on. Well, yeah, good for him to get off to a good start. Too many times we've seen it on a guy like that in a first rounder. You kind of just shove him through the minor leagues, and maybe they don't put up the numbers and do what they need to do at every level. And man, he's doing great. So I don't know.
You love it when a player forces the team's hand, because they're
that's what we all talk about as players. We're all, especially leaving spring training. Oh, I'm pissed off that I'm in high A and not double A or whatever. And that's the thing. It's like, man, you go out there and you play. You force those the club to make a decision and go play. And he's doing that right now. And I've had a ton of people ask me, and you answered it for me when I was driving in. What is that drop dead date for Super 2?
Yes.
And it was, is it June 10th? Is that what you said?
That's what
I tried to explain
right there.
The Super 2 thing can be a little bit tricky. You and I know what it is, but people asking about, service time manipulation and all that kind of stuff. And it does happen. I don't know if it'll happen in this instance because he's playing so well. It didn't happen. People also don't realize that if you get a guy up and he ends up winning Rookie of the Year or something like that, you get extra draft pick.
They got a draft pick for Bobby Witt Jr. Finishing in the top 3 in the MVP.
Yes. So there's advantages to not rushing your prospects through the minor leagues, but getting them there in a expedited amount of time. But I just like the fact that he's going out there and he's swinging it, and he's putting up numbers, and he's forcing the conversation. We're obviously going to talk about it a lot today. You're going to go up and see him. They're having a press conference.
Oh yeah, well, I've been talking to them about doing
just
a one-on-one.
because he's there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all.
And it's his first game tonight in Omaha.
Correct.
But they're doing it as a response to how many people want
Right.
to talk to him. Not
Right.
like, because there are times when it's like the club maybe is struggling and they need some hype. They got a guy that they're excited about and they want to try to pump up the hype around that player, or they spend so many resources on a high draft pick that they push the guy along. You've seen that happen, right, Bluma?
Sure.
Like where
But this press conference also, it was scheduled before anything he did this weekend.
Yeah.
Right? Like this was scheduled last week.
This was
As
scheduled
soon as he
last
got called
week.
up.
I'd already inquired. Well, I told you the list of people that I was going to interview included
Right.
Nick
and they
Lofton.
all got whacked off.
That's exactly right, my list. And so it's inexact, but I see someone said June 7th. So just past
Right.
June, so anything after June 7th.
And that's to
Super 2.
Yeah.
And so
The top 10%.
Alex Duvall posted this and did a nice job of trying to explain this to, Super 2 for Dummies. He goes, Super 2 status, which can still be achieved by Jack, is about how much they would have to pay him in 2028 and beyond, not control the team player. In short, Jack is under control through 2031 if he debuts tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Jack becomes much more expensive in 2028 and beyond if he debuts tomorrow. He's much cheaper in 2028 and beyond if he debuts after June 7th.
And
After
as you
June
said, I think if I remember correctly, that's the date where they look at it and say from a probability standpoint, because what Super 2 means is there's a certain percentage of players
The top
that
10%.
the top 10% if they play 2+ years, they get that third year where they get to be arbitration eligible right away. And so if you wait, and all the analytics guys study what's the date where we can wait where it's safe, that he probably won't be in the top 10% of guys getting called up, then he won't hit that first year of arbitration until a year later.
Players typically must accrue 3 years of Major League service time, with 1 year of service time equaling 172 days on the 26-man roster on the Major League or the Major League injured list to become eligible for salary arbitration. Super 2 is a designation that allows a select group of players to become eligible for arbitration before reaching 3 years of service time. To qualify for the Super 2 designation, players must rank in the top 22% in terms of service time among those who have amassed between 2 and 3 years in the majors. The specific cutoff date varies on a year-to-year basis, so we're looking right around June 7th. The Royals know.
Yeah.
And so, but
Oh,
is
of course
that,
they know.
that's the next question. Should that be part of their decision?
It's always in there. It's always in the back of your mind, because we are not the Dodgers. We are not the Mets. And if you can save a little bit of money, now I hope it doesn't, because you want the best prospects to help your major league team win.
But the timing's about right. You give them enough time at AAA and you call them up. It's not,
So
So that doesn't
You know what?
drive me
If we
crazy
wait
if they
till
do that.
June 7th, so be it.
There.
I
Right.
mean,
I think it's malpractice if they don't at least consider it. This is something that Dayton Moore didn't do. He was willing to call up guys. He called up, I believe, both Moustakas and Hosmer before their Super 2 status came into play. His attitude was, if they're ready, they're ready, and we're going to do right by the players, because this is something that the union, like, I remember Whit Merrifield griping about this. They call it manipulation.
He griped about something?
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe.
Huh.
But, and I understand it. I understand it from the player standpoint. They want to be called up as soon as they're ready. But you have a set of rules. Whatever sport you play, whatever business you're in has a set of rules in place. You don't make the rules. The Royals don't make the rules. They're doing a poor job if they don't take full advantage of whatever rules are in place to them. Right. And the reason it matters, like you're talking about saving money. Hey, this team did go out and invest in Bobby Witt Jr. and sign him to a long-term deal. In 2 years from now, in 2028, let's say he's $3 to $4 million cheaper than he would have been if they called him up 2 weeks earlier. And they need to go make a trade in 2028 or acquire a free agent that could cost $3 million.
I'm good with the timing.
They save themselves $3 million. They can spend that on another player.
It's May 27th.
And I'll say this too to go along with that is we haven't seen this club eat money much ever, and we just ate Hunter's contract, not Renfro's contract, and we ate Stratton's contract.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're just trying to get the best guys up here because we need wins and we need offense,
And they force the issue.
perfectly clear. And those guys that are up now too. I mean, you just talked about Cam Devaney on the way here. He's not on the 40-man roster. That makes things a little bit trickier. I know it.
Ray
mean,
wasn't either, but
so-
they figured it out.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's when and you get Stratton's off and you take. Now you're going to start talking about guys. I mean, I don't know if Massey's got an option left. You assume he does, maybe one. And then you start talking about younger guys. I mean, that all factors in. I mean, there's so many. It's like a big shell game in Rubik's Cube to figure out, hey, maybe we put somebody on the 60-day DL that's on the 15-day IL. You know, there's
But all these
so many
guys
things that can
together,
happen.
get them up here, and I'm really excited
it.
to see what the product is, and then give them time to play together, to come together, and then you still got time. Okay, we still need to go do this, or we're good, or you know what, we could add a smaller piece, whatever it is, or we might in a month still be in the same spot. Hey, they need a bat. They got to go out and get a bat. Then they know they've exhausted all their options within the organization by that time. And again, the team lost to Cincinnati 7-4 yesterday. Lorenzen, bad outing, 5 innings, 11 hits, 6 runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. ERA balloons up to 4.33. Royals offense got going late, but it wasn't enough, and the Reds win 7-4. We'll take a break. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Jaime Bluma is brought to you by Healthy Sleep Midwest. If you snore, you may be suffering from sleep apnea. Visit HealthySleepMidwest.com to see if a custom-fit oral appliance is right for you. Healthy Sleep Midwest. Breathe better, sleep better, feel better.
This is New Day with SSJ.
Stephen St. John here for my friends at Heartland Men's Health. And if you fellas have been putting on weight, if you've been experiencing less productivity at the gym, if you feel sad or depressed, maybe you have poor sleep patterns and you wake up feeling tired, or you fall asleep after dinner, or if you've been dealing with brain fog or even a decrease in libido, perhaps you have low testosterone. And to find out, what you need to do is go to heartlandmenshealth.com and take the low T quiz on the website. It's a simple 10-question quiz with yes and no answers. Only takes a couple of minutes. Then you can schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health. They're going to do your lab work. You have results within 30 minutes. A licensed medical provider will review results with you and discuss your options. You make the decision together with their medical team. You know, the cost of the appointment's only $99, which includes medical consult, T, and PSA test. And if you sign up for testosterone treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. So here is what you need to do. You can make an appointment at any one of their 3 locations: Overland Park, Independence, which is convenient for anyone in Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and their new office in North Kansas City. Give them a call today, 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. I mentioned that 459-foot home run that Jake Caglione hit. That's good, isn't it?
That's really good.
So this is even more interesting as I sift through my retweets of Jake Caglione moonshots.
So a couple things that come to mind for me. One, it's going to be weird for him because he just played in the College World Series a couple times. I know it's a different ballpark now. So it reminds me of, I remember playing in the College World Series for 3 years in a row in 91, 92, 93, and then being back in Omaha in 95, my first year in AAA, and playing at the same ballpark in front of a sparse crowd, comparatively speaking, to when it was the College World Series. But for him to have been in 2 College World Series and then less than 2 years later be back at Omaha, pretty awesome for him.
So the 459-foot home run was off a left-hander, Sammy Peralta. Sammy Peralta had held left-handed hitters to a 190 batting average last season, 180 in 2023, and this was the first hit he allowed to a left-hander this season.
First hit.
And it was a 459-foot home run.
Smoked.
Does that add any spice to what we're talking about?
He's doing everything. He's doing everything. He's lived up to all the hype that you had for him before the season started at every stage.
He's exceeded it.
Yeah, he has.
That's for real.
He has, and you've been on board from day one.
I almost stoked the fire on Friday when you hit us, but I left you alone.
No,
That is
do
really
it.
silly.
I'm in. Let's go.
But
Do it.
another point on the Super 2 status thing, I think some people look at it and just will say, well, the team, and I know it gets framed this way sometimes, if in fact they do this, maybe they'll call him up beforehand. I personally hope that they do. Consider it. They'll do the calculus on how much money they could save, but if he comes up and rakes at the major league level for a couple years, his arbitration number is going to go through the roof. The way arbitration works, to people that don't know, before you get to free agency, when you get those 3 years, you decide on a number you think you're worth. The team decides on a number they think that you're worth, and you try to come to an agreement. If you don't, you go to a judge, an arbitrator, and you put the stats out there, and the judge decides we're either going to pay you what the team wants or what you want.
That process isn't good for either side.
It's not, because then you put the club in a position where they got to try to make a case for why you don't deserve the money, so they got to tear you down.
Dayton Moore did a good job of avoiding that.
Always-
Bad taste in both
every
mouths.
opportunity.
He did do a great job of that, and I think it was a really smart move. But the other thing he did, though, was he didn't factor in the Super 2 stuff, so they would just call guys up. And he thought, we're going to do right by the player and all that. And I would listen to all those players talk about how much they loved Dayton Moore, and they loved how, and then as soon as they became free agents, they all left, which is their right. It's their right to do. It's their business. I don't begrudge Hosmer or Moose or anybody for going and making as much money as they can. This is their profession. But my point is, the club then needs to also do what's best for them. And if you could push arbitration back a year, that gives you an extra year where you could try to work out a long-term agreement with him before he's guaranteed all of his big money. And if you can do that, you have a better chance of doing what they did with Bobby Witt Jr., which is sign the guy to a longer-term deal. Because the reason they're willing to do it is because they're not guaranteed that big money for the first 3 years. And so it doesn't mean you're going to necessarily get it, but it's one more piece of leverage in your pocket where you can say, hey, man, we'll pay you. We'll give you whatever 10-year deal, whatever now, 2 years before you're actually guaranteed to make your millions, because you don't start making your millions until you get to arbitration.
Fair. And I'm always on players' side for obvious reasons.
Of course,
and so these are billion-dollar companies. Major League ball clubs are billion-dollar industry. So if you can do as a player everything you can to make the most money that you can, because you don't have much say in any of it.
And you only have so much time to make your money.
You know what say you have? Go out there and play your ass off.
Yeah.
And force a decision to, hey, man, let's throw all the manipulation BS out the window and get him to the big leagues so he can help us win baseball games. We're in a chase now. Minnesota's caught us and passed us. Detroit's they don't lose. And Cleveland, we knew was going to be there all along. So we are behind the 8 ball. On May, what is today? 28th?
May 27th.
27th.
But and Minnesota walked him off a couple of times this weekend, and that sucked.
I'm glad they didn't walk us off 3 times because
Yeah.
I thought it was going to frickin' happen.
And again, every time, it seems like almost every loss now, it's like, man, the Royals don't hit enough. Man, the Royals don't hit enough. Man, the Royals don't hit enough. And they don't. And that's why they're making all these drastic moves. The Royals see it, and that's why Caglianone's inevitable. Here's something else I wanted to ask you guys about. Tonight, the official return of Brady Singer to Kauffman Stadium. He will be on the mound for the Reds. And so, I'll say what I said when the trade was made in an effort to be consistent. It was a trade they had to make because they felt like they had enough starting pitching to absorb that loss. They brought back Waka. They brought back Lorenzen. They moved Bubic to the rotation. He's been a Cy Young candidate, incredibly. They needed a bat. They added India. And I told you that in that ballpark and just with that team, I thought Singer's numbers were going to take a big hit. And I thought India would be better. Right now, neither player is anything to write home about. Singer comes into tonight 5-3 with a 4.88 ERA, 135 WHIP. Just, he's coming off a game where he walked 4 in 5 innings and just had control problems. Jonathan India is hitting 227 with a 325 on base and a god-awful 298 slug. And this is the guy, his career slash line was 251, 350, 402. So his career OPS is 752. Right now he's sitting at 623. That's bad. And over the last 21 days, it's 591. Over the last week, it's 307. Bad all the way around. And so let those numbers sit in your mind for a moment. And I'll ask you when we come back, would you make that trade all over again? The idea was correct. Trading Brady Singer for a bat. But did they trade him for the right bat? It softens the blow a bit because Brady Singer, like if he came in here with a 2.5 ERA, we'd be kind of pissed. And it's not that the Royals need pitching. It's that the Royals had pitching to trade, but the idea isn't enough. Like you said, they're going for it. They're trying to get to back to the playoffs and win. And so when you pull the trigger like that, like in the past, when you trade Greinke, you got to make it happen. And the Royals look back what they got for Greinke. Great return. When you decide, hey, we're going to trade Will Myers, they home run, nailed it. And so when you are teetering on the opportunity of perhaps pushing through and getting back to the World Series, when you trade a guy like Brady Singer, it would help if you hit a double. This has not been a double.
Fouled it off.
And so I would like to get your thoughts about this as we look back right now at this trade. There was a pretty big moment in the offseason as Brady Singer returns to the mound at Kauffman Stadium to face Jonathan India. Is this what decides who wins the trade? How India performs against Singer? Is that how we judge this trade? I don't know.
I like the plot line.
We'll get Bluma's thoughts and Nate's thoughts after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.